Accountability versus ownership. Shifting the focus. Hey guys, Jeff Stewart Johnston here. Back with the second part of this accountability and ownership idea. So this is coming from the kind of client perspective. So how do I take ownership over my process? How do I shift from an accountability mindset to an ownership mindset? You know, this is not an easy process, and it takes time. But it also can occur with intent. We're going to be better at something if we intentionally work towards it versus passively allowing something to happen. Now, hopefully if you're just, doing the next right thing, working hard, learning to enjoy a process orientation, you will find yourself becoming more ownership minded. But again, passivity is something that is not an encouragement factor. It really doesn't move you to the next level. We really do need to be active. We need to be proactive. And so that's where some of these ideas will come in. First off, the most important thing in developing an ownership mindset, it kind of sounds simple, it's just giving a shit, right? So we have to care, and this has to be a part of our personal values. So if you're doing something that is antithetical to your current value system, so let's say your goal is to get a six-pack, but your values are having Sunday dinner with your family at your mother's house that she cooks and eating her food. If that's something that's really important to you and it's going to throw off your balance that's required maybe to get a six-pack, because we know that's not an easy thing. Everyone wants a six-pack. Nobody really wants to do what it requires. It's not necessarily a fun process. But if you're doing something that runs antithetical to your values, you will never be able to have an ownership mindset because it's not something you want to take or should want to take ownership of. So that's where reassessing our values, policing, thinking about these things is so vitally important. Number 2, be proactive. Be an active participant in your change. We're never going to reach a state of ownership if we're just allowing someone else to dictate our process, right? At first, it's really good to have that push and to have someone kind of lead us on the path. But at some point, we need to be active participants. We need to help start to control our own destiny. So what does that mean? It just means simple things. Asking questions, figuring out what works for you, researching things, making decisions, proactively. Some of my best clients, some of the things that the people that are the most successful come back to me in a weekly check-in and say, you know what, so this week something happened, I decided to try this. Well, it didn't work. Or I decided to try this, it worked great. This is something that I know that I can do. And they're not afraid to try things and just kind of see if they work. They're active participants. They're not afraid of small failures because they know that there's the safety net there. And that's where the accountability and the ownership can work together. You can take ownership of it, and you know that if you trip up, there's someone there that's going to be there for support. Number 3, ask for help. This is one of the hardest things that people really have to do, because when they are just looking for accountability, they're just looking to be told what to do. They're just looking for some external stimulus. But to really own something, to really take ownership, we need to ask for help. No one can do anything alone. And by asking for help, instead of this feeling that a lot of us might have that it shows weakness, or it shows that we're not in control, or it shows that we don't know what's going on, it's actually quite the opposite. We take such ownership of this thing that we don't care about what it looks like to someone on the outside if they think something about this. The way I kind of equate it to as a fitness professional, someone, says something to me, asks me a question that's not really in my field or that's just above my pay grade, I say, I don't know, but you know what? Let me ask some of the people in my circle. I have a doctor that I regularly. It's my personal doctor. He's also in fitness. He works with obesity clients. He can answer a lot of questions that I just will never be able to answer. I don't have that level of expertise or education. I have a lot of friends who are PhDs, a lot of friends who have master's degrees based around these things, psychology, behavioral specialists, hypertrophy specialists, someone who's I went to a seminar with a running coach. I don't know anything about running, but I attend these things so I learn and meet these people that do. Never has anyone questioned my authority because I own that. I own what I know, I own what I can do, and I own my process. So I have no problem asking for help. I ask for help all the time, probably more than most of my clients. But I've learned personally through much deeper trials than really anything that is to me fitness related. That if I didn't ask for help, I was going to be in deep, serious personal trouble. So I know the importance of that. So that's really, to me, that's kind of the thing that really brings it all together, is asking for help. But there you have it. If you really are passionate about change, if you really are passionate about doing something new, we really do want to try and move on that spectrum from accountability to ownership. And again, the way to do that is, number one, give a shit. Number two, be an active participant. And number three, ask for help. Those three things will take you a far way to gaining ownership over your process. And I think you'll be a happier, healthier, and more productive individual because of it. All right? So there it is, part two. Part three we're going to have up. That's going to be focused more on coaches and people that are trying to help other people kind of achieve their movement along that same spectrum. Thanks, Ben.